Well, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the program Jackie Redmond, whom we all know as Canadian sports fans. She's been hanging her hat in the States for a while now with the NHL Network and MLB Network. Jackie, thanks for the time. How are things in New York today? Is that where you're joining us from?
Yes, live look at my office at the NHL Network / wardrobe room, I suppose. But yes, I am in New Jersey. That's where our studios are. So just hoping for some action here a few days away from the trade deadline, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we'll get into that. And by the way, Stu Grimson, very good friend of mine, Bruce Boudreau becoming that. That's why I figured that you're in Secaucus, not New York. But I'm looking at your Twitter bio, and it says, I love potato chips. Can we start there? Like, yes. Do we not have in Canada the better potato chips, ketchup, enough said, versus America has more of the chocolate bars? What's been your experience on that?
Oh, Canada hands down has the better potato chips. It's not even close. Even if you compare, like, this is a little crazy, but if you compare Ruffles plain in Canada to Ruffles plain in the USA, they don't taste the same because there's different regulations about how much sodium and all that stuff that you can have in these things.
Wild.
And I still say, like, Canada's way better.
Yeah,
way better.
What is your favorite potato chip? Like all of them, or is there one that you're buying if you had the option of all of them?
You know, I think I get asked this question more than any other question when I do sports shows. I'm not even joking. And I always say I don't discriminate. There's no potato chip that I will not eat. But I go through phases. Right now, I'm very into kettle chips. So Miss Vicky's, you know, the blue bag? I think it's sour cream and chili it's called. I love those chips.
Well, I'm not a kettle fan, but I'm kind of digging Pringles buffalo wings right now. But I'm with you. I'll eat them all. Yeah. Okay. So
I can get down with buffalo flavored chips.
It's very good. I'll ship you some if you want. I don't know if you can get them in New Jersey
Please,
or not.
I'll accept.
You got to try it. So you. By the way, I watch NHL Network a lot and MLB Network. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say how, so I won't, but I do. It seems like you're really having a lot of fun on the NHL Network right now. Did you just saw me say ESPN never talks hockey? Like there's a huge need for hockey talk in America. I don't think people would understand that in Canada.
No, I totally agree. And the crazy thing about the show that I do, it's on from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. It is the only place you can get hockey in the middle of the day is the NHL Network. So I have a blast working here. We get to do a ton of fun stuff. I have one of the best co-hosts in the world in EJ Raddick. I can't say enough about him. I feel really blessed to work with him. But yeah, it was 10 months back home in Canada, not really doing anything. So I'm excited to be back and doing a regular show again.
Look, I've got hockey questions for you, but Alan, the intern, the Asian sensation, our intern, has written. He says, hey, Jackie, how was it to work for Bell after the score? Who was your favorite WWE superstar to interview? That's from Alan, the intern.
Ooh. Okay, so I was at Sportsnet, to be clear, but and I miss my wrestling days. Man, favorite wrestler. You know, I did a rap battle with Bailey. That's pretty high on my radar. Like we rapped Eminem lyrics together. So that's probably my favorite interview that I've done. But the first time I interviewed Stephanie McMahon was pretty wild. Triple H, because I was introduced to wrestling back in the days of a McMahon in every corner. Those were the days that I was watching Stone Cold, Triple H, The Rock, all those guys. So when I finally met Stephanie McMahon, it was one of those moments where I was like, whoa, 12-year-old Jackie is tripping out right now. But my favorite interview was probably with Bailey, I would say.
Trust me, I get it. I mean, working in sports as a play-by-play guy for years, the WWF guys were under the arena stands one time. We were going on the road, but they were setting up, and Vince McMahon was putting on his suit. I just looked in a dressing room, and I'm like, my God, is that guy big? Vince McMahon. He's huge. Anyways, let's get serious. Jeff in Winnipeg says Hawkins cheesies all the way. So that's one thing we have in Canada is Hawkins cheesies, no doubt. Nelson Hackowicz says Ruffles all dressed chips. That's probably my favorite, Nelson, but I'm moving on to buffalo wings. But I'm serious about getting serious. Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall.
I was going to throw in there jalapeno flavored cheesies are money.
Where does one get those?
I think you can get them in Canada. They're the hard cheesies, like the Cheetos, I think.
Okay, producer Clark's telling me Cheetos has them. We have a mission after the show today to find jalapeno-flavored cheesies. Okay.
How about that?
How about that? So on Instagram, our question today for our viewers is, would you trade for Taylor Hall? And over 60% of respondents saying they would not. In your opinion, does Taylor Hall get moved? And if so, are you hearing where he might go?
Oh gosh, I think there's a good chance that he gets moved, but he does have a little bit of say in where he goes, which is a factor that people just, for some reason, aren't bringing into the conversation as much as I think that they should be. I do think that there are teams where Taylor Hall could fit. The one place I don't want to see him go is the New York Islanders, and I've changed my stance on this in the last 7 days because I was the first person like, the Eberle Hall connection, like Taylor Hall should go to the Islanders when Anders Lee went down to injury. But now I'm sort of walking that back because I think to play in Barry Trotz's system, you have to be the type of player that is willing to buy into a lot of things that have nothing to do with scoring goals. And I'm not saying that Taylor Hall is not willing. I'm just saying that based on what I've seen, I think there are probably better candidates out there that would fit into the way the Islanders play more than Taylor Hall does. Nick Foligno is someone that I would love to see go play for Barry Trotz, the captain of the Blue Jackets. I'm a huge Blue Jackets supporter, but the time is not now for them. And I think that if the Islanders could figure out a way to get Foligno, he would be the perfect guy to go there. He can play in so many different roles. He's definitely a leader. That's why he wears the C in Columbus. And the way Torts plays it's not the same. The structure is not exactly the same, but there are similarities. So I think Foligno would fit in really nice with the Islanders. That's the deal that I'm hoping to see go down over the next few days.
Wow, and we got a lot of Islanders fans that are viewers of this show. I can't wait to get their take on that. By the way, Jeff in Winnipeg says jalapeno cheddar is of what she speaks. And viewer Darren Bradley says you can get it at Dollarama. Dollarama, guys. Jalapeno Cheetos. Okay, we're on it. Now, I Googled this morning Taylor Hall trade deadline, and what came up was the Sporting News. 4 teams: Toronto, the Islanders, the Bruins, and the Flames. Do you feel like that's just 4 random teams they just spun a wheel and got, or is there something to those teams, do you think?
I think there's something to those. I mean, I feel like the Leafs come up no matter what big name player is up for grabs at the deadline. The Leafs are always going to be a team that's thrown in there. I don't know that should be the priority for the Leafs. The Leafs have enough guys that can score goals. To me, I look at the Leafs and I am concerned about goaltending. We have seen numerous situations this year with teams putting their 4th goaltender out there and hoping for the best. I mean, Boston last night had Swayman play, their 4th goaltender this season. So very quickly, your goaltending situation can go awry, if you will. And the Leafs are already in a situation where Freddie Anderson's not playing. Jack Campbell is playing very well, but he is still recovering from a leg injury. He's not 100%. So all it's going to take is one dude crashing the net in game 1 of round 1 of a playoff series, and Campbell could be out. So I think the Leafs need to address that situation probably more so than getting a skilled forward to collect points. I think they have enough players that can do that. So I would like to see the Leafs do something either between the pipes or on the blue line, because you can never have enough defensemen in the playoffs. That's for sure. Calgary's weird to me. I think Calgary should just blow it up. I think it is clearly not working out there. I call them fraudulent.
Been saying it for like a week or 2.
Flames.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
They are. They're just like, yes, I get it. You have big name players. You should be better than you are, but you're not. So it's time to move on. So I think they should blow it up. Whether that means bring Taylor Hall in, I have no idea. I don't know if that's where you start if you're going to restructure the Flames completely. So I think the Flames are probably going to do most of their work in the offseason. I think that just makes more sense to me because they're not going anywhere this year. No,
and that's why I think that prior to Monday, they'll be making some moves. But buying on Taylor Hall makes no sense. By the way, there's a question about Josh Manson in Anaheim and why his name keeps coming up. Crozy, I'm going to save that for you, okay? Why is everybody talking about acquiring Josh Manson? Unless you have a thought on that. Like, people are saying that the Winnipeg Jets might go after Josh Manson in Anaheim. I guess they're going to be sellers. But his name is coming up a lot, Jackie.
You know, the Winnipeg Jets are a very intriguing team to me because at least out here, it seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in the North Division and the All-Canadian Division, it's the Leafs and everybody else. And I understand why. The Leafs have been very dominant, yada, yada, yada. But we cannot sleep on the Winnipeg Jets. Like, the Winnipeg Jets are a very deep team, and they have Connor Hellebuck. So if they can bolster themselves ahead of the playoffs, I see no reason why the Winnipeg Jets shouldn't do that. Because I think if the Leafs run into the Jets in a 7-game series, I don't know which way I go, because Winnipeg is a deep team, and they have the goaltending X factor, if you will, I think, in Connor Hellebuck. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them add a player like that at the deadline.
Well, believe me, we hear it. Now, you would, following Toronto media, would definitely hear it's the Leafs and everybody else. But out here in Western Canada, where we reside right in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, as I like to call it. Yeah, we're right between Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary. So if we ever talk about the Leafs, and I'm surrounded by Leafs fans that work here, the Jets fans are pounding their fist, and the Oilers fans are pounding their fist. We're legitimate. We're in the conversation.
Does Nick Ehlers get enough hype out there? Because I know he doesn't here, but I'm in the U.S. But Ehlers, to me, is so... I mean, he's having a great year this year, but he was great before this year. And I just feel like he's slept on a little bit.
Only in Winnipeg is he getting his due. But he doesn't from the networks. Yeah, and that's a really good point. We need to start waving the flag a little more for the Jets and some of these other star players on these Canadian teams. Hey, are you done? Are we done with hockey? Can we talk baseball just for a couple minutes before we let you go?
Sure. Why not?
Can you carry... Is it well known in MLB circles that you're a Blue Jays fan? And am I right in saying that, considering that you are a Canadian?
Yes, I would say it's pretty well known that I was born and raised Leafs and Blue Jays. Actually, I would say when I was really young, I probably was more into the Blue Jays when I was a kid. My dad used to listen to sports talk. I mean, still does to this day, listen to sports talk radio. But when I was 9, 10 years old, my dad would sit out in the garage with me, sit on the deck with me, and we would listen to games on the radio. He thought that you gained more or learned more about the game from listening to it on the radio than you did watching it on TV. I don't know if that's correct, but that was his theory. And so we would sit outside under the sun. He would be drinking a beer. I'd be drinking like an apple juice or something that kids drink. And we would just talk about baseball. So yeah, huge Blue Jays fan. They've been terrible my whole life until I was an adult a few years ago, and they were good then, obviously. But yeah, born and raised on bad sports teams.
Isn't it something though? Isn't it something though that they put a couple pennants up in Rogers Center, and now they're off to their best start since 2015? And by the way, I would agree with your dad, Tom Cheek and Jerry Howarth, Tom and Jerry. They're dropping the stats on the radio that you're not getting on TV to fill time. Your dad is 100% right. And just from the viewers, TML, Crosby fans watching on YouTube, he says, agreed, Ehlers has always been the Jets' best player. Everyone was hyping up Line A, yes, but Ehlers has always been the most all-around skilled player on that team. Our viewer in Albany, where did it go? Albany, New York, Ryan McCarthy.
I'll say this too, but Ehlers can wheel. Like, Ehlers is fast.
And make moves at top-end speed, too. Ryan McCarthy says Nick Ehlers is an under-the-radar guy we don't hear enough of in the States. So you can thank Jackie Redmond for pumping his tires. Jackie, I could go on. Yeah, I could go on forever.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so I love it. I love it. So keep it up. I love spreading the positivity that you do. I love that you stand up for yourself as the father of 3 girls. I think more need to do that in people in your roles. So way to go for that. Big fans. Keep it up. And thanks for the time today.
Honestly, I had such a good time with you guys. Thank you for having me on. Call me anytime, we can talk chips, we can talk hockey, we can talk about the two, like whatever you need. I'm here.
Right.
I'm here. I was actually really honored that you guys asked me to be on the show. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. Stay safe. Thanks for the kind words. Jackie Redmond joining us from NHL Network in Secaucus, New Jersey, and also from MLB Network. I feel like we covered a lot of ground there.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.